downloading as authentication completes there. But yeah, between the environments, you should always do a clear credential cache so that it kind of clears whatever is in the cache and then let you download the symbols as it started doing here. And you can add as many as you want. You can keep adding configurations as you need. So if you are developing Docker, you can have this and you can name it as Docker environment and so on and so forth. So it makes it easier that I'm doing my development, I've done my testing. Now let me deploy it on sandbox, test it there, and then on a different environment or so. But just make sure to clear the credential cache so that it doesn't cause that problem. Okay. Hello, Vijay, Abhinav, John, Sandeep. Sir, kya hal?
Good evening.
Hey,
Right.
Hey,
Hey, Saurabh.
hey man.
hi Saurabh.
I said, okay. So without wasting for the time into it, as we discussed last time, we'll look into the master data management. What is that feature? It sounds a
Yeah,
little,
MDM.
yeah. So I thought I will do crazy stuff here so that if I'm doing something wrong, you guys can stop me there. Then don't click on that button. That sounds crazy because when I looked at it, it looks a little bit vast, expanded, but let's look at it now without wasting time. So the first thing is you need to be on a different company other than your parent company. So let's assume this is my parent company, Cronus USA. So either I can switch to my company from my settings, which is another company that comes in, which is an empty environment or empty company. And then you can start utilizing the master data management page that's available. There are so many options there. So I'd be curious to see what others think about it because I was a little bit confused about different options. So let's search for it. Master data management. So here it is. The first thing is the source company. And here you specify the name of the company. And they might have to change the tooltip because it says course company. But that's okay. That's a small tip that you want to synchronize data from. So this is the from company from where you want to do that. It'll show you all the companies other than the current company that you are in. You choose that. And now you need to enable the sync from the source company. Once you enable it, it shows you a pop-up, if I'm not wrong, where it talks about the synchronization of data from company Cronus is enabled. To review the tables and field that will be synchronized, choose the action synchronize tables. To perform the initial synchronization of data from Cronus USA, choose start initial synchronization. And then after your first bulk sync is done, my it will automatically create job queue entries, which will continue the synchronization modification. So the first time is when you load everything from the another company, and then it'll keep them in sync whenever changes happen in your source company. Let's click OK. And then as it said, let's go into synchronize tables. Now this is the default list that you get. Let's look at it. There are status. Is this table is part of synchronization or not? And then there is this boolean, which if you have done on-prem to SaaS migrations or replication, there's something seems to be coming from there, which says override local changes. So it means if a similar record kind of exists in this company, it will be overwritten if this boolean is set. And then there is a table filter where you can define what you want to filter out. And Sandeep said you have a question.
Yeah. Overwrite local changes. Will it mean that if I make some modification in the child company, that will be overwritten, and it
Yes.
has might not have nothing to do with import of the data or something.
Yeah, if you enable this, then it'll overwrite it if the primary key, not even the primary key, it'll just overwrite it, whatever the values are coming from that. So it's
Um,
an option where, let's say, you want to make sure that nobody changes these masters in any company. I'll only change it my master company, and anytime I change it, though those are the right value that should exist in all the companies.
yeah,
But then if somebody blocks a customer in the child company, it will be overwritten when it syncs again. So
right.
it's a tricky one. I would not enable this, to be very fair, because I'll come to it why I'm saying that in a while. Because I was talking to Dan about it a while ago. Then you can also apply filters, that what kind of records you want to bring. You can limit what kind of records I want to bring from that table and all. Like Microsoft have done these different checks where blocked is blank. I only want to bring those, and so on and so forth. Like in vendor, I don't know what they said. Yeah, blocked is blank. So that's coming up. Now, once you have the table, and you just only are not limited to table, you can even go to the fields. You can say from this field, this table, I would only like to synchronize these fields. And then I did not create a Docker environment, so I don't have access to the source code right now. But it seems by looking at it that you can either, when you don't enable this, it'll do a init insert without any validate. But if you enable this, then it'll call the validate if this is done, other than assignment. And again, at the field level, you can define override the local changes. So not just at the table level, you can say that, okay, table may not be overwritten, but I would like phone number to be maintained from my parent company. So it'll remember that and it'll use that. And that is applicable to all the tables that are there. Now, interesting part is, which I was talking to Dan a while ago, and I would like your inputs into it, everybody's input. When I try to add a new table, it gives me all the tables, including the ledgers. Okay, so I thought it will skip at least ledgers. It'll say I don't want to sync ledgers, but I can still check ledgers. And when I was thinking about it, I didn't directly look for the ledger. I said, okay, let me look what the filters are on this page. So let's have a look, because the filters are a little bit weird and I would like to understand what those filters look like. There's a filter applied, object ID not these. Let me put it into notepad, and this is it. Now when I look at it and I go back and now I'm thinking about it, what I'm seeing is it the list that is already here? Maybe, because contact is 5050, right?
Yes.
9 is country region, 4 is currency. So it is just applying the filter that are already added, not to be shown in that page. But I thought, oh, maybe it's doing something else. But when I noticed that, oh, 5050, there's already a contact table. So it's filtering whatever tables has already been added into this list. And then you can select other tables. So which means there is no limitation. Either it's a ledger table, either it's a transaction table. You can sync everything, which sounds a little bit confusing why this will be done in this way. As in, who would like to sync their ledgers?
Well, you can, in some cases where only some consolidation kind of a things are required.
But even then, it's just the GL ledgers that you would like
A
to sync.
GL customer ledger entry. So if you have to give, say, uh, consolidated customer ledger entry from multiple companies.
But it is not bringing from the
Again, whether
multiple
it's
companies. That's a weird
yeah,
part. That's a weird part, no? It's only
yeah,
coming from the one parent source company. And then once you select the table, then you can select the fields. I don't think there's a enable all. I doubt. No, there's no enable all. So you'll have to enable one by one, which
strange.
which is time
Maybe,
consuming for sure. Can I
but
do a
again, we
bulk
can add
enable?
extension.
Yeah, you can. Right. Okay. So yeah, you can select multiple fields and then click on that boolean if needed to enable the fields. Okay. That seems okay. Can it actually copy image? That is not part on oh, but that's common to all companies, so it will be able to do that. Okay. This is on the table level. What is this update field? Update mapping field mapping to match the table schema. Use this action if the table schema was changed since the mapping was generated. Okay. So if you change something in the schema, then you have to do that. And any other filters here that I can apply? Yes, I can surely do blocked is blank. Okay. So I can apply that filter. Uh-oh. What happened? Just try reopen this page. Okay. Why that table went? Okay, here it is. Why the filter was not applied? Blocked is blank. That's a value, right? No, it cannot apply that filter. Why? Hmm. Still seems to me work need to be done here. Can I apply yes or no? Blocked no. It is not saving my filter. No, that it did save it. It doesn't show it here. Okay.
Can you exit the page and reopen it?
Yeah, let's see. Let's try that. Oh, not
Uh-huh.
saved. Okay. Once we have set up this, we have set up the tables. If you are changing the schema of an existing table, which has been defined by you earlier or by Microsoft, then in the fields area, we need to make sure that we update the schema. There is surely something that's happening behind the scene for this. Once this is there and your setups is done, I don't think there is anything else. Sync modified record, job queue entries, and anything else. Run full synchronous integration, uncoupled job log, delete coupling. Yeah, this is one more thing which is a little bit confusing to me. Where is that? Mm, I don't see it here. And synchronization log? No, nothing yet. Okay, there's a coupling defined, and I don't know from where that is coming from and what that means.
So you can write
Because
logics for coupling now. That if value in parent company is X, but I want it as Y, or say if there is another field which you don't want to sync, but you want to bring in here, just like with what they do in CRM.
yeah, I want to see where I said this. The couple. I want to see the coupling start initial synchronization. It doesn't start it, it just shows you a page here. Okay, here is the coupling or synchronization mode that you see. So there are two. One is full synchronization and one is match based coupling. So when you click on match based coupling, it shows you the coupling that has been done. That the code field on the country region, what is this? Synchronize after coupling. Okay. And create new if unable to find a match. And the match is done based on the code field to code field match on this field. Okay. And case sensitive match. match priority 1. So based on this field, which in this case is the primary key, if the primary key matches, it will update the record. It will not directly insert the record. But if the mapping is not found, if there is a country code which is not existing here, it will create the new if unable to find a match. So you can limit that it's only update, like you have created 5 main customers whom you always want to keep in sync, and others your child company can create. Then you can disable this. Say, okay, I would only like not to create new records. I would only like to update my existing 5 or 10 records that you have in these fields. And the full synchronization is what? That means it skips everything and completely syncs everything or copies everything from the source company to the parent company. I don't think there are other options here. Let me see. Is there? No, there's no edit. Okay. Okay. Anything else here before we move ahead and actually do a sync? And I guess let's see. Yeah. So you can actually create the setup locally on your own environment and export this and then import it on your customer environment if needed. So here's the setup, which is a bunch of XML. Okay, so here is that the table ID. There's a code unit 7321, which is doing the sync. I'll be interested what sync code unit. Is there a different sync code unit for every table? What is this integration mapping integration table UID field number 2 million? What is this field? Is this the system ID? I don't know. Let's go to the contact table. Now this can cause problems that with people utilizing it in the wrong way can cause problems for sure. Oh, so that's the system ID. 2 million. 2,000,003 is what? Created by or created on modified at. Table modified field on. So based on this field, it will understand when it was modified. Table UID field type. Now this is something weird. I'll have to figure that out. Configuration template from integration table. Table caption prefix is business central. And it is applying that filter. And what else? Master data management and all and all. Okay. Hmm. There is a dependency filter, and I don't know how it applied it, but it said that for this, the dependency is customer, vendor, and marketing setup. Create new no integration mapping 428, and mapping name is contact. There's a lot of info in here. Hmm. And I'm interested in that code unit. Is that code unit changes per table? 7321, 7321.
Ideally, it
Everywhere
should
it's
not.
7.
It should use a track rep or maybe a
But that
variant.
that will not slow. I'm just
No,
thinking on that
otherwise,
case.
custom tables we have to include. Otherwise, that will become a problem.
So this is the table that we added separately. These are not part of the default mapping that came from Microsoft. Still talks about the same field. I'm interested in what is this field type 37719 because it's everywhere 37719. Yeah, everywhere it's that. Okay, so uh-oh. And then okay, we should have access to the code once. Then we'll be able to read it correctly. But it seems it's also doing it for each field. So it is not the table mapping, I guess. It's the field mapping also in this, which is containing everything. Okay, so let's run it and let's see what happens. All right. So at this point in this company, there are no contacts. I am pretty sure there are no customers also. And there's no number series as far as I remember. Or is there a number series assigned? Oh, there is number series. Okay, not a problem. So let's see what happens when you do a sing. Hmm. We should do a start all. This will synchronize all coupled and non-coupled record. Using this option only once. Use this options only once. Right after enabling the data synchronization with the source company. After this, scheduled synchronization jobs will keep running the synchronization and you can view the log and manage synchronization from tables. We'll run in background so that you can continue working. To check status, come to this page or refresh it. Okay, let's click yes. Says ready on the dimensions at this point. And I don't know why it dimension. When I ran it for the first time, it also said dimensions. And the only problem is they say refresh this. I'm hoping they're saying refresh it here, but I would have liked if there is a refresh button here, which is not available. I'll have to go back, come back again, and see that the tax area is finished. Some of the tables are finished. Some which are erroring out may have some dependencies and will happen in a while. So it'll rerun those automatically, and we can see the status once we go out and come back in. The tax group have an error still. Let's see what's the error. Okay, it doesn't show us the error at this point. Hmm. Okay, one failed. What is that? The job entry. Oh, that might have been solved while we are clicking on it automatically. So let me go back, click again. Yeah, that's finished. No errors at this point. It is following an order, and I'll be interested to see how it is identifying the order that I need to do the contact after customers, or I need to make sure that the payment terms are not happened yet.
Can you
But
go in the job queue entries?
job queue, okay.
Entries.
These job queues are running. MBM integration, all these
So it
job
must have
queues.
created them one by one, na? Based upon the sequence that was there.
But like as in there is something happening behind the scene, which is as if you remember, we saw that dependency on the mapping when we downloaded it. So there was a dependency of contact table on the customer table and on the vendor table and so on and so on marketing setup. So contact table, I'm hoping, is happening based on that dependency. Once the dependency is done, then it follows that order. So is there a log of this? What happened? Not here. Maybe here. Okay, start initial synchronized tables and all. No, there's no log at this point. Is there a log here? Synchronization logs. Okay. So it ran for 747 millisecond. It only inserted what, 10 records? Which 10 records are those? Oh, contacts. It is only talking about that selected record. Let's do the customer log. Inserted five records, which are these five customers, including pictures and all. Let's look at our table that we added, which is resource. Oh, it ran twice. One for 9 millisecond and one for 60 second. Later after that, there was nothing changed after that. And then it added these four fire records. Now, as Sandeep sir was saying, if you go to the job queue entries, which are these, I see this new status being created. And I haven't looked at the code yet, but says on hold with inactivity timeout. So there is something on that job queue change, which we'll have to see once that kind of comes into the picture. That the general tab has the same thing, object ID, and then it is utilizing the how it is understanding that these I have to run these job queue. It is not doing the parameter for sure. Oh, maybe it's utilizing the category MDM integration. Okay, it is not a recurring job, but then there is this new field, inactivity timeout period. Specifies the number of minutes that pass before a recurring job that has a status on hold with an activity timeout is automatically restarted. And this
This is a
cannot be
recurring
less.
job, right?
Oh yeah, this is a recurring job every day. Sorry, this is enabled, right?
Every 1 minute.
Uh, every 1 minute. But then there is a timeout period of 30 what minutes. So it is not running.
Yes, it will be 30. So if it
It'll
runs
be
and
running
the
every
data
30
is
minutes.
huge, yeah.
Okay, so let's try changing something on the parent company in that case. We can see the customers here now. And let's do two things. One, we will change it here, and I'm pretty sure it should overwrite it, at least for the customer. So let's change the address here. This is a child company. Okay. Now let's go to the parent company and change the, and let me change it the same address on two. Uh, okay. So I've changed it on two companies. Oh, sorry, two customers. Let's go back to my parent company, which is here. Let's go back into the customers. You know, I did that. I should have opened it into a new tab, but okay, old habit. But then, what are the use cases of it other than the actual master data management? I'm a little bit, I'm thinking about it at this moment, I guess.
If it is called master data management, it should normally be expected to work only for.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It should not allow every table because now I'm thinking about as in yes, Microsoft should allow it for all custom tables that are added by different extension. And Abhinav, go ahead.
I was thinking, so let's say if we have five companies and we set up one company and one company as parent company or source company, so it will send records to all five companies, other five companies.
Correct. We'll do that. But our confusion at this point is why every table is allowed.
And also, let's say if we have a sort of categorization in companies, let's say there are two pharma companies and two furniture companies. In that case, you might not see all the items or all the customers for pharma companies to the furniture company or furniture company to pharma companies like that. So it should be like one source company can be, if there are 10 companies, and okay, this is a source company, and it will uh, share the data to the A, B, and C. And there's a D company which will share data to E, F, and G. This should be like this, I believe.
Yeah, I guess I would have agreed if Microsoft would have said, yeah, I, as Microsoft, being the owner of the extension, decide that these will be tagged as the master companies and these you can use. And then I would allow every partner, either an app source app or a PTE partner, when they build app, they can allow their tables to be part of this master data management, like they have done in the retention policies. So like when you go into, because it's still not ran yet, so I'm waiting for these to run. I made changes. Here I have on the parent company, I've changed the blocked for customer number 1000 to ship. It hasn't come here yet, but we'll wait for it. But like on this feature of retention policies, I was pretty happy the way Microsoft did it, which is you can add new entries into this page, but then this list is managed by the app owner. That which are the table I, as app owner, in this case Microsoft, allows customer to delete data at a at a defined period of time. I, as a company, if I want my sales headers are archived to be deleted every 6 months, I can define that. But which tables will be available here will can only be defined by the app owner. So if you are a ISV provider, you want to allow 5 tables of your solution into it, you can do that. If I'm building a PTE and I know I'm creating a log table for storing some kind of log, I can add that table in my extension so the customer can see it here. I was thinking when I read the name of master data management that Microsoft will say, okay, these are the tables that I, as Microsoft, identify as the master table in my extension, which is the base app or system app and all. And I would allow other app developers to define which tables they would like from their extension to be called as master tables. They should not. I doubt that they. I'm not in agreement that they should allow every table into this, because I can see how people will misuse it, or corrupt the system. To be very fair. Okay, did it run? 10:04. Oh, it did run. It seems, or it will start at 10:23. Okay, let me see. It actually created or updated my customer or not? Not yet. I still have the Radun Uttarakhand. I think I can do the sync again from the master data management page if we want to see it quicker. Okay, I can do a synchronized modified record. Let's see what happens. Okay, you can view details to the integration synchronization job page. Integ- Integration synchronized page. And where is that page? Hmm. Till then, it will complete the synchronization till the point I find it. Okay, let me refresh this and see what happened here. Okay, it's still not synchronized. So it's taking quite a good amount of time to synchronize modified records. And that is called customer. Where is the customer one? Customer group, customer. When did this run? 10:30. Earliest start time is 10:30. Hmm. Okay. That's And maybe because we are testing, we are being impatient about it. But if that long, somebody, let me see what happens. The log page is hidden somewhere else. Not this. I would like to see the customer table. Okay, let's look at it. It ran on 10/4, which is 2 minutes ago, and it did not find any changes. And why is that? This table is, the customer table is set how? Full synchronization. Why did not find a change where I changed the, oh, maybe this block field is not part of it. Maybe I took a wrong example. Let me see. Customer, edit table filter. Oh, the block should be blank. Bad example. Sorry. Okay, block should be blank, and then let's do something else. Home page. Okay, let's do that. Okay, and how you run the sync again? Synchronize modified record. Yes. Okay, let's do sync tables. Customer sync log. It did run at 10:07 thrice, and there was nothing inserted, nothing modified. Oh, failed one. Why it failed? Can I open this? Yeah, the data could not be updated because record was modified locally since live synchronization and different values in address field. What does that mean? If I change a record in the child company, it will not. Before retrying, open sync table, select customer, choose action field, and either disable the synchronization of address or set it to override local changes. I'll
Can
have
you
to
mark
do
that
it
field
field.
too?
Sorry,
Can you update that option there?
let me see in the fields. Oh, so it will not override by default. Okay. So I'll have to override these. Okay. So by default, it's not going to override. It'll only override when you change these. Okay. Synchronize modified record. Okay. And synchronization log. 10:09. Again failed. GD1. I did not change GD1. I did not. I only changed the address. Oh, yeah, there is something causing weird things at this point. But let me see what is the global dimension one for customer, and I don't think I changed it. I was very specific that I only change address. I only change these two fields, but okay, wait a minute. One more thing. I also changed 20,000. Okay, but because the first record failed, it didn't even went to the second record. But where are the dimensions for it? Come on, dimensions. Okay, this is blank for customer number 1000, 10,000. Here If I look at it here on the other company, this has value, but I did not change it. And the error was completely different also. Wait a minute. Let's see what the error was first. The error was that global dimension 1 is set to sales from the source record, different value than sales. Department sales. But I don't see any dimensions on the customer table for that record. No, there's no dimensions. Did I did something like that? Anybody remember that I changing any dimensions on internet? Let me copy these just to save here. Copy. Oh, sorry. Okay, I pasted dimension. I haven't changed it just to be clear about it. Let me try to do a sync again and let's see what happens now. Again failed. What it is this time? Oh man. Okay, just to keep it simple, I'll change the whole table. Okay, wait a minute. One more thing which I forgot. That whenever you change something here, you'll have to do a update field. Okay. Let me again open customer. Did it deleted that dimensions attached to it or not? No, they are there. No problems. Okay, let's try to do a sync again. Again ran. Again failed. Okay, let me go back and change the whole customer table itself. Is there a way to, we were seeing that coupling, right? Uh, and I should not be changing coupling here and there, but customer is already set to full synchronization. I don't have to do a match based. Okay, let me select all the enable field. Here it is. And then select all. And can I do overwrite automatically somewhere? Is there a button? No, there's no button. Okay, weird. It's very hard, Microsoft, to find fields here. Let's see. Override. Don't give me error for a new field now. Oh man, again error. Oh, you changed the home page. So you need to make sure that the home page is also set. Great. But home page is changed here, not there, I guess. Yeah, I've changed it here. Wait a minute. The data could not be updated, was modified locally since different value. What does that mean? That even if I change on parent, I'll have to set that value field here to keep overriding because the value on the parent record which I have changed does not match to the child record. Because this home page I have changed on the parent, not on the child. Oh man. Home page. Okay. Override local change. Let's please this time sync something. Finally, one modified. And only one modified? That's weird. Okay. But at least let's see because I had two of them. Customers 10,000. Reverted my address back to what came from the parent and also copied the value which I have changed on the parent here. But I'll be interested into looking at the second one. The second one did not change. The second one has this address, whereas 20,000 here have a different address. So why this was not forced? Hmm. Okay, either I don't know how to use it, or there is still work that's pending from Microsoft side on this because it only did change one record, and I'm pretty sure the customer number 20,000 is not blocked, is it? No, it's not blocked. And if it is not blocked, then it should be part of synchronization, but it did not. It only modified one record, and there was nothing failed. Hmm. Nothing changed. So anyone have any different thoughts? I'm a little bit confused about this functionality right now, and then how it's being used.
Did you make a change to the local table?
Yes, on the customer record 20,000, the
Well,
address is pointing to mine,
well then
which is
that Boolean overwrite local change is set to false. That
it's
would
set
make
to
sense.
true right now. No, address
Oh,
and address true, it sets to true.
oh, I saw it said
Let
false.
me show. Let me show it to you. Customer table field, and then let me go right here. Override changes address and address to is enabled.
But on the table itself, it says overwrite local change false. Go back to the
On the
table.
table,
Yeah. To me, that would override that field property. So check that box on the customer and try it again.
I think this might be
hmm.
like a global switch. Like if you wanted to
Yeah.
set automatically sync every field or override every field.
Well, give it a try.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see that. No, and did not change anything at this point also. So let me look at the customer. 20,000, same address. In the parent company, the address is standard. Hmm. Do I need to make the change again? Oh, sorry. So the change need to happen on the parent company to invoke a sync. So sorry, behind the scene, if I'm not wrong, there's a table which is holding the last value of the parent company. And if the parent company, and let me show you what I'm trying to say. If I change anything here, okay, if I also say here businesscentral.com, now the intermediate table, which is part of the child company, will understand that there's something change on the parent company and then will force the change. So let's see it now. Hmm. Synchronize modified record. Okay, synchronization log, and one should change. See, it changed here. So now if I go back to my customer, 20,000 on my child company, will tell me that the address is reverted and the home page is here. So the only way the sync will happen, sync is unidirectional, that when you change anything on the parent, then these settings either override the whole table or override certain fields will only take place when a change happen in the parent company. If it is only happening on the child company, it's not going to update that record. Does that make sense? I guess that's what I understood. So it's a unidirection change. So when you think about ledgers, and then yeah, I'm going all the time to ledgers, but if there is a ledger created in the parent company or modified in the parent company, then and only then that will sync into the child company. Otherwise, it will not. So the switch to kind of call the sync is if your parent record is changed. Otherwise, no update is going to happen. Is the understanding same? I guess that's what my understanding is by looking at it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a validation. When the record is modified in the parent, the validation happens. Otherwise, it doesn't do anything.
So yeah, when you do the full replication, and this is again an assumption, I'll have to go back and look at the code. There are some integration table behind the scene which stores the current values of the parent company that are coming in. And anytime either the job queue or you manually try to sync, it compares the intermediate table with the source table. And if there is no difference in those two tables, nothing happens in the sync. If there is a change, then and only then, because if you remember the message that came earlier, it talked about that it is going to store all that, or the mapping will be changed. If you change the mapping, you will have to update that field because it will update the intermediate tables. So there are some set of intermediate tables which are storing that data.
So what would be a use case for this? Like in a test scenario, perhaps? When you're trying to test with
If you would
multiple
like
users?
to, if you would like to keep certain fields in certain table in sync with a master entity,
Right.
that's the only scenario where you would like to do a global update on the field, and that should reflect on all the companies.
Right, but I'm specifically talking about like a use case perhaps would be for maybe an implementation where you have, I don't know, 10 companies that you're setting up and you have multiple consultants and developers and testers trying to test out companies. Perhaps you would use it in that scenario, so you could maybe use filters for modified by or something like that.
Yeah, I'd be interested that it will allow the modified by, because that's, I guess that's behind the scene how system is utilizing. What it is doing is, from the parent company, it is storing the last modified date and last creation date. I'm very sure that it is not storing the whole data set. It is just storing when this record was last modified, and if that changed, if that date and time is changed, then and only then it is going to invoke the sync. So the system fields are kind of coming into the picture, if I'm not wrong,
Is
where
the
in this.
is
Go
the
ahead.
modified by and modified at a part of the filter that you can set on the synchronization
I can see that. I doubt. Let me see. But I
in the filter?
think there
Yeah,
should
right there.
system.
It would be in the M. Should be in, yeah, there you
No,
go. Oh, it is. Modified by, at.
no. These are not system fields, I guess.
Those are system fields.
It's
So
system
that's a
created,
caption.
right?
The that's a
Oh,
Oh, there's a
caption.
caption.
Uh,
yeah,
Is there a
yeah, those are
created
cap,
ad then in that case?
those are the same thing.
Create. Yeah. There's, oh, yeah. So those
You
fields are there in that case.
So I can see that being useful. So that if you have multiple developers setting up companies and divisions or whatever, I can see that being useful in an implementation.
In an implementation, you can use it when you are actually going live and you have set up everything. Then you can use this feature to load the data that has been created on the test environment or the test company where they were testing it, and then start up a fresh company with those masters or entity that you have created. Like, you have defined your customers, vendor, dimensions, and all during testing, but then it also have transactional data which you don't want to bring to your production. So you will utilize this to copy that selected data into the new production company that you're creating, or re-implementation when you do, right?
Right.
But what I'm thinking, and I'll have to go back and see in the code, that what Microsoft is doing is storing the last uh, actually created at and modified at these two fields into these sync tables. And anytime somebody requests a sync or the job queue calls the sync, the engine does check these dates and time in the parent company. And if they has been changed, then the whole thing happens. Otherwise, it does not. Because these are the key stakeholders at this point on any database. Then it when it was created and when it was modified. So there are intermediate table which are storing these fields for each record that is part of the sync. And every time somebody clicks on sync, it compares this with the parent, and if this has been changed, then and only then the sync kind of activates. It's copying or looking at what you have set here.
so it, basically it will filter save those values and filter the table greater than this, right?
Right. That's the fastest way, I think. There's no other way. As in, comparing each record will be a nightmare. Comparing the date and time of the creation or modified by is the fastest way. And I guess that's the reason why Microsoft even have these fields, even in the API engine or here, to fasten up to identify what has been changed from the last sync. Okay, anything else on this one? I guess it's something to read in the code. That'd be interesting to see how else you can utilize that code in your extensions, because the code will remain same at the end of the day.
I will implement it within April. I've got a company where we have written our custom code to do the sync, and it runs more or less the same way.
uh, okay.
We use
Uh,
transfer field, obviously, and we are pushing it from the master company. But the
Right.
concept is still the same, that based upon the date time modification, the job queues are
Right.
running.
And then I also read somewhere, and I'll have to go back and check, that there's a limit in place how many companies you can have going forward, and the max is 300. So once you reach to the max, then I guess I don't know what's next after that,
Can
but
you repeat?
300 is the max number of companies that you can create in an environment, and it especially limits to SaaS. But I guess let me find that article where I read it. A friend or a colleague told me about this. I did not know about it, but there's a company limit per environment. The maximum number of companies that can contain in one environment is 300. It is not in place right now, but will come in April. So that means there are some customers who have more than 300 companies in the environment. So that's why they are bringing this in place. If you already have more than 300 companies and want to distribute them across more environments, which means if you reach to that point, you'll have to buy another production more or less. But I don't know how many customers are there who have 300 companies, but okay, if you have, then that's a problem.
Seems like an arbitrary limitation, but yeah, there's probably not many people that have that many companies.
Yeah, and then they have another scenarios why this is the problem, and you can surely read about it. I'll put it in chat later. And then I was reading somewhere else that you can actually copy a company now with, let me see, uh, maybe this is the big one. Let me pick the small one. T1, and hmm, no, there was somewhere where you can create multiple copies of a company if needed. So you can also define how many companies you want, and then it will automatically create that many copies of the company. I'll have to read about it. The other smaller things that have been come in this or coming in this release are like posting preview has been added so many places, including journals, and let me see where that list is. Shipments, transfer orders, assembly order, journals, as I said, then putaways, ship inventory shipment, the new pages, inventory receipts. All these pages will now have the preview posting feature enabled from Microsoft in the coming release. They have done quite a lot into the transfer area. So if you want to talk about it, maybe we can talk about it next week. Uh, but there are multiple changes that I've done especially on the transfer side of Business Central. So you can talk about that if needed next week, or I'll see if there's something else interesting that comes in when I'm reading about stuff. Okay, any other thoughts for the next week before we wrap for today? Okay, if not, we are already past our time. So I'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank you.
Saurabh.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you.
Thanks, Saurabh. If you can stay for a bit,
Yeah, not a problem.
I've got a few questions.
I'll just stop the recording and then we can talk about the stuff.